You're welcome back to Nationwide, and our next story takes us to Portlaoise. Cancer, the big C, it's a word and a disease that strikes fear into the hearts of most people. And when a family encounters cancer, as well as medical requirements, there's a huge need for support. And 10 years ago, the people of Portlaoise fundraised and they built a centre which can only be described as a haven of peace and support. It's called the Cuisle Centre, and recently Mary Fanning went along to visit it.
Put one foot in front of the other, stepping into the here and now. I'm not sure just where I'm going, but I will get there anyhow.
They look just like any other walking group, fit well and purposeful in their exercise. But this is the Strides for Life group from the Cuisle Cancer Support Centre in Portlaoise. 10 years ago, this centre was built, the brainchild of now retired surgeon Dr. Peter Naughton, who along with a motivated group of County Laois people raised the funds for a purpose-built facility supporting those living with cancer and their families. It's an amazing place, administered by former oncology nurse Stella Moran, who works closely with the consultants in the Centres of Excellence for Cancer.
When people are finished their whole roller coaster of being in the Centres of Excellence and nurses and doctors ask them how they are, they come home and they're told they're cured. But emotionally and psychologically, they just feel lost, and they can reflect on what has happened to them of this diagnosis. So they can come to the Cuisle Centre, and we provide a range of projects here at the Cuisle Centre and workshops. And now they are going to get back out there living with this cancer, because treatments are so good, people are living with cancer. So it's get them back out there living with this cancer. So it's all the things about going back to work, about getting fit again, dealing with their fatigue, and all of those problems that they have. So a group of them together in a safe environment can discuss these things, and they have the support of each other. Poor bird, poor bird, wing thy flight, wing thy flight, far above the sorrow.
This is just one of the support services. Expressive music therapy, facilitated by Cuisle. And for many survivors and those living with cancers, this is a way they can get all that hurt, fear and pent-up emotion out.
I came down here the week I was diagnosed. So in that week I met my oncologist, my radiotherapy specialist, my surgeon, and I had all this medical information coming at me, and breast care nurses, and I came down here and I met Stella, and I could start to relax and I could start to breathe. And she helped me with all of the practical issues around cancer diagnosis. At the time, my youngest child was 18 months old, and we have a 3-year-old, 5-year-old was starting school that week, and then our older 2 children were in secondary school. So it wasn't the medical diagnosis that I was struggling with, it was the practicalities. And Stella was great. We sat down, we had a chat, we had a cup of tea. It was outside of a medical environment. It was just like sitting in somebody's sitting room and just talking. And the tension started to go, and I could feel my shoulders relaxing, and I could just take the time out when I came down to the Cuisle Centre for myself.
The Cuisle Centre is self-financing with small grants from the Lotto and the Irish Cancer Society, but the services are everything one could possibly hope for in the form of support.
I realised that people actually survived cancer and lived with it and laughed and smiled again. And then it supported me right through my treatment. I had reflexology, with the chemo, I had reflexology, I had all the other treatments. When I was finished, I had nutritional course, I had yoga, I had this art therapy. And 3 years down the road, before every checkup, you never lose the fear. So before every checkup, I'm in here kind of neurotic, and the first place I'm thinking, I'm grand, lads, I'm fine, back again. So you don't actually lose touch with it, it's there.
The expressive arts therapy comes in then to support you on your emotional journey.
It's given me more confidence in every way. Because I wasn't coming here to this class unless I wasn't ill. I didn't have to speak. They were the conditions I was coming. I told Stella. And she says, well, by the 3rd week you'll say something. But from the minute I came to the door, all of it was great.
Walking man, the walking man walks. Well, any other man stands. tops and calls, but the walking man walks.
The talk I had with my wife and myself with Stella, it was very motivational. And this is what this does for the group here. Fabulous group of people, all cancer sufferers. It's brilliant because it's great for the physical and mental well-being of people. And the centre here caters for almost every case. It's a brilliant amenity.
Cancer treatment has radically improved and the survival rates are going up every year. But more and more younger women are being diagnosed, and for Caroline Costigan, the Cuisle Centre was a lifeline.
It did frighten me, but I just had to take every day as I got it and carry on, and the kids kept me going, and I rested when I could, and my husband Jim looked after the kids when he could, and we just soldiered on and got there.
Patricia Creary from Portlaoise had the tables turned on her life quite dramatically. She's a practicing oncology nurse, a young mother, and then was diagnosed with cancer.
I always feel emotional when I talk about it. You know, it's when you talk about it. When you talk about it, it makes you realise that you have it. And it makes you realise that it's there and it actually happened and that it's real. When you talk about it. So I would say to anybody, you know, like to come in here and to just, you know, to get those feelings out, because it's very difficult when you're at home with your family, because they can only hear and listen to so much. And then when you come in here, at least you can talk to other people. And then when you walk outside the door, and it's the relief that it's all, that you've discussed it and you've said it.
Okay. That's great. The practical side and after effects of treatments like chemotherapy and radiation are also looked after by the Cuisle Centre, like manual lymphatic drainage massage.
During my treatment, I developed lymphedema, which is a localised swelling, in my case, in my arm and hand. So I started attending here on a regular basis for manual lymph drainage therapy with two very highly trained professional ladies who looked after me extremely well and got my arm and hand back to where it was before my operation.
Cuisle is a practical haven of hope. It's a family looking out for each other, dealing with fears and looking to the future, finding the positive way. The ethos Dr. Peter Naughton wanted to find and establish at this purpose-built facility.
Cancer treatment nowadays, with the advances that have occurred, is really a chronic illness. It's not a sentence like it was in the past. We have patients who are now 20 and 30 years post-surgery, and with the help of this centre, they are enjoying life as good today as they did 40 years ago.
Friends, families, clients continue to fundraise for the Cuisle Centre. The board of directors tirelessly looking at ways to raise money.
We get absolutely no financial support from outside the county. It costs approximately 200,000 per year to run the centre here, and with the exception of a very small amount of money, 16,000, all of that funding is raised from within the county. But a more significant challenge is to raise sufficient funds to ensure that we can deliver the range of services that we have on offer here on an ongoing basis.
The recent controversy around some charities has affected their fundraising efforts. But when you watch the clients at Cuisle, you cannot but be amazed that a centre like this is self-financing and wants to stay that way.
This works extremely well. Is this hanging up, Mary? You're going to hang this up now in your house?
Yeah.
Marie Conroy lost her beloved husband Eamon, but during his journey with cancer, they both used the counselling, the services and the tight network of supports that got her through.
It carried us, yes. It helped us to cope, you know, and there's times when I often felt I was going to fall down on my two knees, but they'd get me back up again, and, you know, they carried us through. We'd come up here for the cup of tea, Eamon would go in for a massage, I'd go in for a bit of counselling, and, you know, you could talk in a safe place, and, you know, people just understood, like they understood without actually having to explain yourself.
Art therapy has produced some really beautiful pieces of work. Everyone joins in, and through their pictures, clients often express themselves and their fears and their relief that somewhere like Cuisle has opened its doors and hearts to them.
And what do you think?
Now, I know
The Cuisle Centre has provided supports for cancer patients and their families for 10 years. It's now looking to the future.
Our most important thing for our future is to keep the centre running. People of Laois have been wonderful. We have a guy cycling from home to Rome now, and we had a fashion show last Thursday night, and our cancer survivors modelled in that fashion show. So that just shows what the Cuisle Centre has done. It has brought them from just after their diagnosis to now women that can stand up on a stage and walk down a stage, and they've just got that confidence, and that's what we want here in the Cuisle Centre, that you can walk out that door confident. The hardest thing is walking in the door, but the best thing is walking out the door.
A wonderful facility in County Laois, and when you look at it, you know, you can't help thinking, wouldn't it be great if every county in Ireland could have a Cuisle Centre? Maybe someday. Sinead,